Hello everybody, this is 𝗙 back with another video. I just keep making videos. I can't help myself. I'm a madman. I'm just crazy zany like that. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I actually have a couple of viewer comments here for you today, and they actually, the two of them kind of are related thematically, I suppose I could say. They're gonna have similar responses, so I figured I would lump them into one video that's gonna have sort of this overarching theme that these two comments slash questions address. Okay, so it's going to have to do with other people, friends and family, and how they react to your desires, to you telling them what you're manifesting, what your desires are. And I think maybe some of you can already kind of guess what I'm going to say about that overall, just generally speaking. But I'm going to go through them, you know, specifically kind of a little bit fine-tooth like I usually do, just to kind of look between the lines and to kind of pick them apart and take them on point by point, so that you can kind of see, you know, what's going on here, and you can sort of see where, you know, your internal expectations, your internal state of being about any situation, especially about your desires, and especially about when you're manifesting specific people, really do kind of, you know, project outwards, you know, onto the world, onto the people around you, who then sort of reflect that back onto you, and then you feel the need to react to it, which is sort of like reacting again to a mirror image. It's like walking up to a mirror with a frown, and the mirror is frowning back at you, and then you punch the mirror because you want it to smile, or you yell at it like, "Why are you frowning at me?" Well, you got to change your expression. You got to change your way of being for the mirror image to reflect something different back to you. But of course, it takes a while for the external force, the external physical reality, the mirror image, to catch up to your changing inner state. Okay, so that's why it's crucial not to give up in the middle of it. It's crucial not to just change your inner state to make something happen out there, and then when you don't see something change immediately, you give up and you go, "Well, this doesn't work." You got to stick with it. Okay. The external will catch up, and don't worry about how long it's going to take to catch up. It will catch up as long as you are persistent and consistent. All right. So the first comment is from 𝗙Franklin, and these are my YouTube viewers. So these were left on the YouTube channel, so therefore they're public comments anyway. People can find them. So I'm not gonna, you know, if your questions are coming from, say, the Facebook group or from a private email, then I'll keep you anonymous, unless you tell me otherwise, or tell me it's okay not to. But if you're going to comment on YouTube, then, you know, it's out there anyway, and it's just your username. So I don't think it's such a big deal. But anyway, this one's from 𝗙Franklin, and 𝗙Franklin wants to know, "One of the questions I always think about is how to react to people asking and assuming things about your specific person, especially if it's an ex." Well, especially if it's an ex, I suppose in your case it is an ex, right? So that's why especially. Well, I want to just stop there right there for a minute. The comment goes on, and I'll get more into that, but just that word "react" popped out at me. Okay, and that's a very important point I want to stop and make here. And I said this already before I started reading this particular comment. You don't want to be reacting to things so much. Okay, now it tells me that you are reacting to it, and of course, as your comment goes on, that's what you say. You're reacting to it internally, but just the idea that you feel the need to react to outside influences, outside people, your physical environment, basically. I mean, consider that the people in your physical environment are part of your physical environment, just like a bottle of water on your desk is, or just like the walls in your room. You know, all of it is part of this sort of, I want to call it the third dimensional physical mirror of physical reality, right? So even the people in it, the people in it, the way that they're showing up to you, is a manifestation or an extension, a reflection of your predominant inner state. So if you're finding people coming at you in a certain way, saying certain things to you that are triggering you on some level, that's an indication to you that what you've got going inside, you've got some blockages going inside about this particular issue. Okay, so the thing about it is, how do I react to these people? You don't react to them. Just like I said before, you don't react to the mirror You don't yell at the mirror or try to have a discussion with your mirror image when it shows up, kind of looking like this, because you're the one walking up to it like that, okay? If you want the mirror image to go, hi, D. Franklin, that's what you gotta do. You gotta show up that way first, all right? And I know it's difficult. It's difficult to because we're raised with this separation consciousness from the time we're little wee ones, pee-peeing ourselves. They want to let us know that there's the world and then there's you, okay? And you got to push and manipulate and argue and discuss and win people over and win over your environment and all this kind of jazz and nonsense and yada, yada, blah, blah, okay? No. That's why it's always so important. That's why we always stress that you make the internal shift first. The fact that your external environment and people in it are showing up to you in a certain way regarding a specific issue, in this case, your specific person who happens to be your ex, okay, is only an indication of how you are vibrating on the inside about it, what your focus primarily is on the inside about this issue. That's where you still have to make the switch, my friend, okay? So don't react, because reacting is just like that. It's like throwing something at the mirror because it's frowning or scowling at you, okay? Who does that? Monkeys do that, parakeets do that, right? You're not a parakeet, right? You're not gonna bash your head against the little mirror because you see the parakeets in the cage, they think it's another bird in there, and they start having arguments with it, okay? I think I might have said this in another video. Years ago, I was at a bar, some weird college bar, and they had a big wall mirror kind of next to the bar where I was sitting, and this kid, he was so loaded that he walked straight into the mirror, and then he looked up and he saw his reflection, but he actually thought it was somebody else, and he started picking a fight with himself with his own mirror reflection image, right? So he's reacting to this two-dimensional mirror image, that's reflection, that's actually a reflection of him. And just for a minute, and I think he snapped out of it for a moment. He realized, oh, okay, I don't know what's happening. So he kind of left and stumbled out of there. But I always remember that because it's such a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's kind of a humorous example, but think of it that way. When you're doing that kind of stuff, like reacting to things like this, you're like being that parakeet. Don't react. Just use it as a sign of where you are, what's going on inside of you, and just as an indication that, oh, I see now where I need to make a shift. I see now what needs to change. I see now where I have blockages and resistance going on. Okay, if this is triggering me, then now I can identify the problem. What's going on inside me is I don't really have a big belief about this, okay? Or I'm too focused on the past, or I'm too focused on an element about my specific person, my ex, which is what your friends and family and people around you are reflecting back to you when they're talking about your ex, okay? So I'll go on because this explains it. My family will tend to ask about him or talk to me about him in such a way that is from the past, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Here's the thing though, if they're doing that, well, first of all, I want to say this. Are they just bringing up your ex randomly around you? My guess is you're talking to them about your ex a lot, okay? Or you have spoken to them about your ex a lot, and so they're concerned. They're asking you, so how's it going with, and you're like, oh no, please stop talking about this now because you talking about it is triggering something in me. And the thing is that, if you are still talking to other people about your ex and wanting your ex back and what you want to manifest and your vision, stop right now, okay? That's the number one thing I want to say. And to all you guys out there, you want to find people who are like-minded, okay? People like me, people like on the Facebook group, okay, which I hope you've joined, the Manifestation.lab Facebook group. You want to find people like that you know absolutely for sure are going to understand what you're about, what you're doing here, what manifesting is about. They're not going to try to discourage you. They're not going to try to talk you down from it, tell you you're crazy, make you feel that you're crazy, okay? Most of the time, I would not recommend talking to your family and to your friends about it. God bless them. Your family and your friends, I'm sure they're wonderful people, but they may not be on the level that you're at right now with this stuff, okay? So it's kind of like playing Russian roulette with your energy a little bit and with your focus a little bit to do that, okay? I've done it and I've always regretted it, okay? And it's not that I don't respect my family or they don't respect me. They just have a different idea about how things are and how things work. And so they don't quite understand what it is I'm doing or talking about about some of the time either, okay? So I learned a long time ago to keep those things to myself unless I know for absolutely sure that I'm dealing with somebody who understands what I'm talking about. So that's number one. Number two, in response to this, my family will tend to ask about him or talk to me about him in such a way that is from the past. Well, if they are you pushed out, okay, and if they are expressing and reflecting back to you a fear that you have going on inside, or a block or a bit of resistance that you have going on internally, a thought that a resistant thought, a limiting belief or thought that you've been practicing regularly on the inside, that's all that's happening here, man. You know, you're just kind of wondering, how do I get the image, the mirror image, to stop being this way? Well, it's reflecting back to you this. You're focusing way too much on the past, okay? And what you're wanting to do is, instead of making the change inside yourself, saying, well, I'm just going to stop focusing on the past and focus on what I want instead, or focus on the present moment, if that doesn't work, which is the best way to do it, focus on the present moment. You want to say, well, how do I get them to change, right? How do I get them to stop doing that? How do I react to them so that they will stop talking to me about this person as if it was all in the past and it's all a done deal and it's never going to happen again? Well, you can't. You can try, but it'd be like the parakeet in the mirror or that drunk kid in the bar, right? You'd just be banging your head against a mirror and yelling in a mirror and trying to get it to change when you're still not seeing which way around this thing really works. It's the other way around. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you, okay? So you need to start taking steps right now to quit focusing on the past so much, because that's what's happening here, okay? And so say thank you, as a matter of fact, as well, to your family and friends showing up this way, okay? Because even though it's annoying you right now and you're thinking it's tripping you up, that's not what's tripping you up. They're not tripping up your manifestation. You've still got blockages going on inside and resistance going on inside that you need to come to terms with, okay? And they're just showing up to show you that, okay? They're pointing that out. They're going, hey, look, there's a wound, all right? And you're like going, I don't see a wound. It's fine. No, they're going, no, it's bleeding. Look, okay? So then you can slap a Band-Aid on it or do whatever you need to do to reconcile that, okay? And we can talk about that in another video, or you can get some coaching with me if you want to take it in that direction. But the thing is that that's what's going on here, okay? You're the one who's focusing too much on the past, and maybe you don't quite see yourself doing it, okay? Because so often we have so many thoughts running through our heads on a daily basis. I don't even know what the number is, what like psychologists say and stuff. It's thousands or something like that per minute. I don't know. It's a ridiculous amount, okay? We can't always know what it is that we're thinking at any given moment, or what it is that we're thinking about predominantly. The only way we can really know is when we begin to pay attention to what it is that we've been manifesting. And in this case, what you're manifesting is your friends and your family showing up to you in a certain way, speaking in a certain way about your ex that's displeasing to you, that's triggering you. And the reason it's triggering you is because this is still an issue. Something from the past between you guys is still an issue. And so there would be no other way for you to really know that, okay? Unless they showed up to you in this way. This is why this is all set up like that. This is why your physical reality, your external physical reality, is like a mirror image. That's a feedback system. It's always letting you know where your focus is at, where your energy is at, where your thoughts are at, predominantly most of the time, okay? So say thank you for that. Be appreciative of it, okay? Because it's there. It's like a compass for you. It's like a map for you. Because, you know, how do you know how to get to where you need to be where you want to be if you don't even know where you are, okay? Can you imagine all those explorers going like, I'm going to leave from somewhere and go to somewhere? Map makers, you always have to have a point of reference, a starting point. So this is here to let you know where your starting point is, okay? Where you are right now in relation to where you want to be. So now you know this is helping you identify what issues to work on, all right? So you've got some things going on where you're focusing way too much on the past. So instead of reacting to people doing that, just go, oh, okay, the mirror is reflecting back to me where I need to, areas that I still have resistance going on, limiting beliefs going on about the situation and about my ex. So I got to make my peace with this, okay? You can do things like Ho'oponopono, all right? We'll discuss that. I'll discuss that stuff in other videos. But basically, really, as far as as techniques go, what you want to do at that point is just focus on the now, and then, and then get into the idea, get specific about how it is you want to feel. How do you think you will feel when you're back with your ex? What's the feeling and the state of being that you're after? And once you've identified that, then you reach for that in any way that you can, even through activities and thoughts and hobbies and things that may seem completely unrelated to your ex or your primary burning desire right now, okay? You want to reach for the feeling, because your desire, this relationship with your ex, this rekindling with your ex, you're using it as a symbol of a state of being that you're after, a certain feeling state that you're after. That's all it is, okay? So once you identify what that is for yourself, sit down and do some soul searching, do some inner work, or just ask yourself, well, what is it I really want to feel here, okay? Then you can look around where you already have those feelings available to you in your life right now, whether it's through your ex or not, okay? And then use those situations, circumstances, and people to feel that type of feeling that you're after as much as possible for as long as possible, okay? And the things that match that feeling will begin to solidify in your environment. They'll begin to reflect back to you, okay? In that way. And so then this won't be an issue anymore, all right? So once you kind of move past your own limiting beliefs about the past with your ex, all right, and your own sort of resistance about the past, maybe you haven't forgiven them for something, maybe you haven't forgiven yourself for something, okay? Maybe you're still angry at them for something, you're still sad and upset about what happened in the past. You're locked into it in some way, and that's why your friends and your family are showing up, and they keep bringing up your ex in that framework, all right, of the past, right? So you need to make peace with that first, okay? And the moment you do, this won't be an issue anymore. You won't need to react to them, okay, in any way, because it won't be a thing. Even if they do bring it up from time to time still, you won't have the same reaction to it. You won't have the same trigger. It won't trigger you in the same way as it did before. And then that's your key, that you've shifted, that a shift has happened. Like I've said in other videos, once you react differently to the same circumstance, the same situation popping up in your life than you did before, then you know a shift has occurred. The shift doesn't need to happen on the outside. It always needs to happen on the inside. The outside catches up to your internal shift, okay? So once you react differently to the same situation than you did before and all the other times before, then you'll know a shift has occurred, and now the external reality can catch up to that, okay? So because you've changed now. That's what's important. Not that they change, that you change. All right, so let's see here. Okay, I've lost my space. I get so carried away with this stuff. Okay, so they talk to me about him in such a way that he is from the past, and I'm attracting a new version of him. But it sort of trips me up sometimes, because with them bringing up how they assume him to be, what did I just say, right? It's how you actually still assume him to be. I'm sorry to put it to you that way, but there's just no other way. It's not how they assume him to be. If this is still bothering you, it's how you still assume him to be, okay? So that's where you need to start making the shift. You're attempting to, you're attracting a new version of him, but you're really not, okay? Are you thinking most of the time about this new version? And again, it's not even necessarily that you're needing to attract a new version of him. You need to become a new version of yourself, okay? It's all of you guys out there, you want so much to change them. How do I change their behavior? How do I get them to do more of this and less of that? How do I get this and that and the other thing? You got to stop trying to change them. You need to make the change in yourself. He doesn't need to be a new version. You need to become a new version, okay? Just like I said, you need to start becoming okay with the way things were. You need to start becoming okay with the past and with what you think are deficiencies inside yourself. Because right now, what's going on is, if you want somebody so badly in your life, is because you think that you're incomplete somehow without them, or you think that you're not lovable without them, or worthy enough without them, that you need their permission. You need them to treat you a certain way so that you can begin to treat yourself in that same way. You can do that now without them. And in fact, you need to do that now without them. Okay? They'll never show up in a different way unless you begin to show up to yourself in a different way. So it's not about getting him to be a different version of himself. It's about you working on yourself to become a different version of you. You need to become the version of yourself that already has what it is that she wants. or he, I'm sorry, Franklin makes me think of Franklin Roosevelt. I assume it's your last name. But you know, the thing is, the thing is that you need to really begin to think about who is D. Franklin. Who's the version of D. Franklin that is back with the X, that is confident, that lets things just come to them, that just kind of floats upstream and doesn't, or floats downstream and doesn't try to paddle upstream all the time, doesn't try to control the external circumstances all the time, that just kind of goes, you know what, I love myself the way I am, I love my life the way it is, I have fun every day as much as possible, I engage in my highest excitement, I engage in my hobbies, my passions, I have so many people in my life that love me, that I love back, I have so much to give, and in return I receive, and as a result I receive, so my life is complete already. I'm complete already, okay? Now, it would be nice if my ex were part of the party bus that I'm already on, that I'm going to the party that I'm building. It would be nice if he came along, right? Not, oh God, my life is horrible unless he's in it. He's gonna be the only one that's gonna fix things, okay? You need to start making it about yourself, all right? If that, yes, I'm babbling a little bit, I understand. So I sometimes tend to lose focus. Well, that's the thing. It's not that you're losing focus. It's just that your focus is still primarily on the things that you see as being lacking. So it's not losing focus. You're just shifting focus back again and again to how things were, right? And it's just a habit. I understand it's a habit. Here's the thing about beliefs, okay? A belief is nothing more than a habit of thought. It's just a chronic way of thinking. And you think it so often and so chronically that your mind starts accepting it as real and as truth, okay? The only way to get rid of a bad habit is to introduce a new habit, okay? And at first, that new habit, that new way of thinking is going to seem really alien and kind of stupid and goofy. It's going to feel off. It's going to feel wrong, okay? But you need to just be persistent with it. You need to keep practicing it until your mind begins to accept it as truth. And the more it does, the more evidence of that begins to reflect back, and your mind will accept that as evidence of what you're introducing to it, the new thought and ideas you're introducing to it are actually in fact true in fact, okay? So then as you practice this new way of being and believing and thinking and showing up in yourself, it becomes easier and easier, but you need to be persistent and consistent with it, especially in the beginning. All right, and that comes down to not expecting other people to change to make it easier for you, all right? It just doesn't work that way. So I hope that explains that to you, D. Franklin. This is a good comment, and it's one that comes up a lot. It's a question that comes up a lot in my coaching as well. So I'm really glad you asked it. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything. It's brave of you to put yourself out there and ask this. And I guarantee you this is helping other people out there too. And you guys asking these questions, I guarantee you're not the only ones with this kind of thing on your mind, whatever the issue is or question that you have. There are others out there listening and watching, hopefully, who are also going to benefit from you asking that, okay? So I hope that clears that up for you. And in fact, here's another person with a similar thing going on. 𝗙់𝗬𝗏. I still love your handle there. 𝗙់𝗬𝗏. I love it. I just love saying it. Okay. So something similar here. 𝗙់𝗬 is asking, when manifesting a specific person, how to deal with outside influence. Here we go again, right? You guys are so locked. You're so enamored with this mirror image. You just think it's so real and so solid and so, it's not. It's poof. You know how quickly things can change? I mean, from one day to the next, you could have a totally different life. I've experienced it. I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced it. Maybe you've always chalked it up to some fluke or, oh, wow, isn't this weird and zany? But no, it's just, it shows you just how totally illusional all this is, how malleable it all is, right? There's nothing really all that solid going on out there, quote, air quotes, okay? In fact, how do you even know I'm real? I could be like Max Headroom. Maybe there really is no Tarkon, and I'm just like a little guy in a box. Maybe I only live in this little box, right? Wouldn't that be weird? Remember Max Headroom from the 80s? Those of you who are old enough? I don't know. Anyway, I wonder if he has a YouTube channel. So, 𝗙̀𝗬, when manifesting a specific person, how to deal with outside influence. What did I just say to D. Franklin, right? You don't deal with outside influence. You don't react to outside influence unless what's bouncing back to you is pleasing to you. Then you enjoy it and engage with it and react to it if you want in a positive manner. Okay, if what is reflecting back to you isn't pleasing to you, you don't react to it at all. You do the internal work. You use it as a reference point to inform yourself. I see where my beliefs are going a little sideways, where my resistance is popping up, what I've got going on that's kind of wonking me up a little bit. So that's the area for me to work on. And, you know, as I do, the external circumstances will reflect that back to me, my changed way of being, my different way of thinking about things, my new narrative, right? My new ideas about it. So that's where you got to do the work in the old nut, okay? And the old pump. All right. When friends try, same question, right? When friends try and give advice and tell you to reach out to the specific person, or time is running out before they find someone, before the specific person finds someone, it's already been too long. How to not let that affect you? Well, again, this is like what I said to Franklin. It's very important that you, my guess is here, just from your comment, from your question, is that you're talking to your friends about your specific person, you know, until they're probably blue in the face, and they're trying to scramble to help you, you know, and they don't really know, right, any better. I mean, it's like they're just kind of regurgitating things that they know from whatever Hollywood. Most people don't really understand that. You know, it's not that they're stupid, and that's part of that comes in your later in your comment here. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but it's not that they're stupid. Most people are locked into consensus reality, right? I mean, they're just kind of going on what they know so far. Okay, so they're trying to help you. They mean well, but they're also showing up in such a way that your fears about this, you're probably asking them all the time and talking about this person all the time, and so, you know, you got to stop. Okay, like I said to Franklin, you know, don't tell people that you are not absolutely sure or understand what it is that you're talking about when you're talking about manifesting and things like that. Just don't mention it to them. Don't talk to them about it. Just like don't check on them on your specific person on Facebook. People do this all the time. You know, what you're looking for is some kind of reassurance all the time, right? You want that little dopamine hit, okay? You want that little hit that says it's going to make you feel good for like 5 or 10 minutes. You know, you want somebody to go, oh, it's going to be great. Yes, you'll get this. Don't worry about it. And then you'll feel good and happy for 5 minutes, but then it sort of fades just like a little hit of some drug will, okay? And then you want the next hit, okay? Well, that's not really, you know, a healthy way to go about things, okay? You got to start understanding and making the connection between you wanting to feel a certain way and only putting the onus of feeling that way on this specific person or whatever your specific object of desire and attention and focus is, okay? You can feel the way you want to feel through any means necessary, through any medium necessary. It doesn't have to be your specific person, okay? Because if you want them back only to have them make you happy, it's going to be a shit relationship anyway. I'm sorry to put it to you that way, but it is. It's going to be one-sided. It's going to be frustrating for them. You'll probably drive them away eventually anyway with that kind of attitude, okay? Because the thing is, we cannot make them responsible for our happiness and our inner peace, okay? We have to be the ones who are responsible for that. So, you know, and right now you're probably going to your friends trying to get them to reassure you all the time. And they're kind of like, well, what do we do? You know, they're probably giving you advice and they don't even know what's left to say anymore, okay? Again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I see this happening so much. And I used to do this stuff all the time too, so I know what I'm talking about, okay? Stop trying to get your friends to make you feel better about this. Stop trying to get their advice. And, you know, your question goes on here, where's the line between delusion and basic social societal constructs, right? Is everyone else just dumb and asleep? I'm the actual genius here, okay? No, it's not that they're all dumb and asleep. Everyone is on their own path, okay? So you know, it's not, this is like a thing Abraham Hicks says all the time. You know, don't try to tell people about Abraham, okay? Don't try to tell people about manifesting and law of attraction unless they're already sort of getting there, or they ask you about it, or they bring it up first, okay? This is not a thing where we try to convert people, okay? This is a thing, this channel is not there to convert people. I'm not interested in, you know, 7 billion people or however many of us monkeys are bouncing around out there on this bubble, you know, believing in what I have to say. I don't need them to, all right? That's the thing. If you're ever sort of part of a belief system that says you need to make everyone else think the way you do and believe the way you do, guess what? The people saying that don't really believe what they're telling you they believe anyway. Because again, it's the same concept. It's needing other people to reassure them rather than having the faith and building the belief inside themselves and the strength and the power inside themselves, all right? To not need anybody else to make you feel better, to not need anyone else to reassure you that you're lovable, that you're deserving, that you're powerful, that your life is good, all right? That you're good fundamentally, okay? That's what it comes down to. You're going for that hit, that dopamine hit every single time. Whether it's, you know, through your specific person, I want them to text me, I want them to like my Facebook post, I want them yada yada, tell me that they love me, okay? I'm asking my friends about them all the time. I need my friends to reassure me all the time. This is like a constant thing that you're never gonna really feel satisfied doing. There's no satisfaction at the end of that. The satisfaction comes when you make your life the thing that you want it to be now, without needing any circumstances outside of you to change, okay? Without needing anyone outside of you to change and to make you feel better all the time. Is that you decide, me, 𝗪𝗪𝗧, me, Tarkan, I'm complete already. And I'm gonna demonstrate that to myself by making my life the most awesome, amazing, fun, exciting experience that I can from moment to moment to moment by always following my highest excitement, following my highest passion in every given moment until that thing is exhausted. Then I ask myself, what's the next most exciting thing for me to do so that every day of my life is full of joy and curiosity and wonder and self-love and appreciation, okay? Even when you're just taking a bath, even when you're just lying in bed and snoring, okay? That can be the most awesome thing for you to do in that moment. Even if you just want to sit and twiddle your thumbs or play with your belly button or something, okay? That could be the most exciting thing for you to do in that moment, all right? But you got to understand, it's everything that you need or you think you need, you already have. You were born with it. You don't need anybody else or anything else to reassure you of that all the time. So stop talking to your friends and family about this, okay? The people you want to talk to about this are people like me, all right? Or people on the Facebook page, the Facebook group, all right? Manifestation.lab Facebook group. If you haven't been there, if you want to join, go join it. Go to Facebook right now and join it. And there's a link down below in the description box for that, okay? So, you know, those are the people you want to talk to about this, okay? Like-minded people. All right, but if you don't not sure that somebody that you're hanging out with or some family is understands what you're understanding about things right now, and it's not that they're stupid, they just haven't gotten there on their own. They need to get there on their own. Maybe they're just not ready for that yet in themselves. Their higher self understands that. Okay, their higher self understands what their world self is ready for yet and what it's not ready for yet. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. This isn't about you're superior to them or they're inferior to anybody or you know more than they do. It's nothing to do with that, okay? So, so I just want to put that out there. We're not superior to anybody, okay? I'm not superior to anybody. I'm not superior to you. I've just engaged with this is just something that I've decided to focus on my path in my life right now and for a long time, okay? So I've read a lot about it. It's like saying, you know, if somebody is like really good at a certain profession or a certain skill, the only reason they're really good at it is because they've practiced it, right? To the exclusion of pretty much anything else. Hey, that guy's a really good guitar player. Well, why is he a good guitar player and, you know, not a good, I don't know, something else, right? Because you spent all this time thinking about guitars, playing the guitar, practicing the guitar, talking about guitars, okay? Reading about guitars, studying about guitars, all right? And not all that time studying whatever the other thing is, okay? So the people that you're talking about are very good at other things, okay? Just not this particular thing, because it's not something that interests them or that's something that's really, that they have really been sort of, yeah, I guess, turned on to, I would say. I don't even want to say awoken. I don't like that thing either, like everyone else is asleep. They're not asleep, all right? We're all the same entity anyway. We're all the same thing anyway. We're not different from each other, okay? We come from the same source. We just kind of partition we're this one big entity that partitions itself into these billions and millions and infinite different viewpoints. That's what we are. We're just all different viewpoints of the same source, okay? So, you know, this particular unique viewpoint that is Tarkan, particular unique viewpoint that is 𝗪𝗪𝗧, that is D. Franklin, that is anyone out there watching, is your mom, your dad, your dog, your table, your desk, your walls, all that too. It has conscious energy as well, okay? So It's all the same energy, all right? So no one is any stupider than anyone else or smarter than anyone else or anything like that. But what I will say, and I'll leave you with this, again, how to deal with outside influence. The best thing to do here, just like I told D. Franklin, is to simply not talk to people about this. People that you know aren't necessarily into what you're into right now. That's all it is, okay? If I'm into comic books, I'm not going to talk to my mom about comic books because I know she's going to get bored out of her head. Or she'll say something like, why don't you do something more interesting, or, you know, something, you know, when are you going to grow up? She doesn't say that, but you understand what I'm trying to say. She just doesn't understand, right? Because she's not into them. That's all it is, okay? So these people that you're talking about, they're not stupider than you. They just don't understand because they're not into what you're into. They, you know, so then they haven't done this studying up on it. They don't really know what you know about that specific topic, right? In this case, manifesting. And I wouldn't try to waste my time trying to get them interested in it either, okay? I've had friends that I don't talk to about it at all. We talk about other things. We have other things in common. And every now and then a friend will go, hey, have you heard of this thing, this law of attraction thing? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, you know, I've heard about it. What have you heard about it, you know? Oh, wow, this is kind of weird, you know? So they'll explain some basic kind of thing to you. And then, you know, you can kind of tell, like, oh, it looks like they're going to get interested in this. And maybe I do have some things now to kind of show them and talk to them about, okay? But otherwise, I would never bring it up. You know, I have a whole group of friends out there I never talk about this stuff to, because it's just not... It's not called for in those situations, all right? I don't tell them, a lot of people that I have in my life, they don't even know I have a YouTube channel, okay? Or they do, but they don't really ask about it. You know, like my family knows, but they don't really understand what the hell I'm babbling about here all the time. And that's okay, they don't need to. They'll ask me every now and then, how's your thing going? You know, I don't know what they think I'm doing. They think I'm telling jokes all the time or doing music. I don't even do music, right? But whatever it is they think I'm doing, it's just that they're not on the same frequency. That's all it is. So they're not, you know, just where this particular thing is concerned, you're not really matching with them energetically. Ooh, I said it again, energetically. All right, so my advice to both of you is stop talking to people about your manifestations unless you're absolutely sure that you're dealing with someone who understands manifesting, who's into it as well, who's read up on it, okay? Who's going to support you and not the other way around. And also for D. Franklin and for you as well, Lagatita, and for all of you out there, just remember this. If people are showing up to you in a way that is discouraging you from your desire, it's because they're reflecting back to you what you predominantly have going on the inside. That's where you need to make the change. Again, as with anything that I'm going to say in these videos, okay? You need to just use that as a compass, as a reference point to inform you where you are at internally, all right, with your focus, with your energy, with your understanding, with what you want in relation to where you want to be. Okay, that's all it is. And then just don't get upset about it. Don't try to change them, okay? Just go, okay, now I know where I am. Now I can adjust course and get back towards where I want to be. Okay, so thank you guys. I hope that all made sense. I know I did a little babbling there, but sometimes, you know, I do that thing. But thanks for tuning in, and if you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now if you feel like it. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like, thumbs up thingy, and leave your comments, right? I love your comments. And also join the Facebook group, all right? See the link down below. Last but not least, if you want some coaching with me, that is also down below. The link is down below. You know, in the near future, guys, also I'll make an announcement about this when it's available. I'll be offering some personalized, customized, guided meditations. I've done a couple of those already for some coaching clients, and they seem to be quite popular. So I'm looking at offering those as another service on the website soon, but I'll let you guys know when that is ready to go. And also, all of you guys have been leaving me tips and donations. Thank you so much for that. They're wonderful and they're really appreciated. If you want to do that, you'll find 2 links down below, one for PayPal, one for Cash App. And thank you so much. Okay, guys? So until next time, I'm Tarkhan. Y'all be good and happy manifesting. Bye-bye.